Where the Crawdads Sing.
They never saw me.
In this video, I am going to be discussing my impressions of the movie characters, recastings I would have made, important mistakes the movie made, explanation of the title, Where the Crawdads Sing, and my theories for the ending explained. So I thought that the movie casting directors did a wonderful job of making most of the characters pretty accurate to their book descriptions, like both in character as well as physically, but there were a few that I would have changed. Tate in the book is described as having a tan face, curly blonde hair, and I just would have imagined him to be a bit more boyish, so I probably would have casted Alex Pettyfer to play Tate, but of course I thought the actor for him did really great. I mean, how can you not fall in love with him? But I just probably would have changed his character a little bit. The next is Chase's wife, Pearl, whose name is Pearl Stone. I would have casted Nicola Peltz because she, in the book, was described as being blonde. I'm pretty darn sure. And obviously make Nicola Peltz have some 60s attire and hair and you would have been golden. Jody was another one. Of course, the actor fits like the soldier character pretty well. I mean, he looks nice and strong, but I just thought that he would look a little bit more boyish, have some cute endearing eyes. I would have casted Tom Blythe for Jody. I don't know. Maybe I'm just liking the pretty boys, but I just thought he would have done a fabulous job. The last and probably the most shocking for me was Tate's dad. I mean, not to be mean, but he did seem so much older and scruffier than I imagined. To be fair, he's meant to be a shrimp fisher, so he did a good job like fulfilling that, I suppose, but he and Tate just, I mean, he could be Tate's grandpa. I mean, he looked so much older than Tate. I would have casted Dennis Quaid instead just because he was younger, looked a bit more like Tate. But overall, I think they did a great job. So the next is movie mistakes. This I really had to dig to find because they did a wonderful job making every finite detail accurate, but there were a few that I found. The first was that Tate didn't give Katia the list of publishers when they were still together. He gave that after they had broken up, after he had abandoned her. And that was like one of the main reasons that Katia forgave him, is because she realized he did care for her because he gave her that list and because he still believed in her. And so I thought that I was a little confused why they changed that. I thought it was a pretty important piece of the timeline. Also, I'm sorry it's so windy. Katia didn't see Chase in jump-ins before he assaulted her, which was important because she basically embarrassed him and humiliated him in front of his friends in the movie. But in the book, that didn't happen. Chase had no motive to hurt Katia. He was just a freaking jerk. She also wasn't seen hiding in her reading nook like the book described when she was hiding out from Chase after he hurt her. Another thing is that Chase didn't destroy her shack in the book. Again, I don't care if you paint Chase to be more jerky than he was in the book because he was a freaking jerk. So I understand why they included that. Also, Jody was older when he left in the novel. He looked like he was 9 or 8. I mean, he looked young. And that just, I don't think is realistic, you know, for a 9-year-old to leave. And he didn't in the novel. I believe that he was, you know, meant to be a teenager, and that's when he left. And so I do wish they kept Jody for a bit longer because he and Katia had such a special relationship. Guys, I swear people don't want me to make this video because someone's leaf blowing over there and it's been going on for like hours. And then some rando just started it up. So in the book, Tate explains that where the crawdads sing means far in the bush where critters are still wild, still behaving like critters. So this clearly describes Katia, who, although still human, does act a lot like animals. A lot of her reasoning is similar to those in the wild. There are a lot of premonitions in the book for her killing Chase. The main one is the female firefly, who sometimes sends different signals to attract a mate and then she'll kill her mate. And she explains that, you know, the fireflies aren't being evil. They're not killing their mate for out of selfish reasons. They're doing it for survival. And so this kind of shows why she killed Chase. She didn't kill him because she wanted to torture him. In fact, she killed him in a pretty swift way. I mean, it was a very humane death, just him falling from the fire tower and dying pretty quickly. But she did it because she knew that if she didn't, she wouldn't have survived. Okay, and that brings us to the final topic, which is my own theories for the ending explained. We can see in both the book and the movie that Chase comes to Kaya's shack unannounced, unwelcome, after they had broken up, and he attempts to rape Kaya. Kaya is able to escape, but she lives in fear after that. I mean, Chase is coming back. He's returning to her shack. He's returning all over the swamp to try to find her. And she's very clever. She was able to hide, but she realizes that she can't hide forever, and she's living in fear. She also parallels the characteristics of Chase to the characteristics of her pa. Her pa was incredibly abusive, and he continually hurt her mom and beat her, and he was the sort of man, like Chase, who needed to have the last word. This phrase is left for interpretation of the audience. Does this mean that Chase would have, returned to Kaya's shack, eventually found her, successfully assaulted her, and left her alone after that? Maybe. Does this mean that he would have found her and he would have kept coming back because, just like her pa, he would have routinely beat her? And the last one, which I think, is that he probably would have killed her. And evidence I have for this is when Kaya's talking to Jumpin', and Jumpin' sees that her eye is beaten, and she tells him that it's Chase. She tells Jumpin', like, don't tell the sheriff. I mean, they're not going to do anything about it. They're prejudiced against me. And again, it's, it draws parallels to the African American community, how they were prejudiced and discriminated against during this time, the 1960s. And so Chase knew that if he killed Kaya, no one would have prosecuted him, no one would have cared. Probably most people, except for Jumpin' and Tate, would have found out. I mean, most people wouldn't have found out. So she took matters into her own hands to protect herself. Tate eventually finds out when they're old, and Kaya passes that she did kill him because he finds a poem and Chase's shell necklace in her floorboard, or in the movie's case, in one of her books. And he takes her secret to the grave with him. So this shows that he really didn't see Kaya differently in this. Her motive for killing Chase was really believable. It made the fact that she was guilty believable. The logistics of her killing him, however, were really improbable, and that's probably why she was deemed innocent. She would have had to get on the Greenville bus to Barkley Cove disguised as a man. She would have had to get her boat, go to the fire tower, lure Chase in. She probably promised him, sexual favors, or at least to talk. Shoved him, taken off his necklace, put her boat back, disguised herself as an old lady, and caught the Greenville bus, or the bus back to Greenville, within 50 minutes. I mean, that just seems really improbable. If anyone could do it, it would have been Kaya. She was super clever and intelligent. She knew her way around the marsh. But this very narrow time frame probably is why she was deemed not guilty. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I am a new YouTuber, so it would mean a lot if you would subscribe. I go to UC San Diego, so I'm going to be posting a lot of college vlogs and information. And let me know what your theory was, whether you agree with my theory that Chase would have killed Kaya if she didn't kill him first, one of the other two I mentioned, or if you have your own. I'm really curious. I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Bye!